Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Pop Culture Podcast, episode 84. I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
And we're back after several weeks of me being gone.
No, look it. I don't think... I know you're sick. I know I was sick. We're still in whiskey month. That's why there's
That's
whiskey
true,
in front.
yes.
We said next week we're doing rye. It's rye. To
Yeah.
me, it's been a week.
And to be fair, those of you that listened to that last episode and I said we were going to record the following week, that was my bad. I totally misread my flight schedule. I thought I flew out on Thursday, and I actually flew out Wednesday, which was the day we were supposed to record. So
It's cool, man.
we're back now, though.
We are back now. We took a little bit of hiatus while you were in Paris and I was dealing with business things.
That's
Which
right.
is why I couldn't handle some guest interviews and whatnot. But we're back now. Regularly scheduled program.
Okay.
And what are we drinking tonight?
We are drinking Jim Beam Rye, not Evan Williams Rye.
Not Evan Williams rye. As you may have remembered, I had mentioned the Evan Williams rye being one of the ones that people were saying, GQ especially, a better, cheaper alternative. You can't find it. So I'm wondering if maybe it was a single barrel that was released that year.
Maybe,
or
because
something.
I even Google searched it while I was in the liquor store, and nothing came up.
I Google image searched, not Google image, but Google search, and I did find a Evan Williams rye single barrel, and then
Okay.
it had a year on it, but it was 2014.
Oh,
So I'm like, maybe they was limited.
yeah, maybe.
But then I remember GQ talking about Green Label. Now the Jim B rye has a Green Label.
It does, yes.
And the Evan Williams Green Label is bourbon.
It is. So maybe you just mixed your, I don't know.
Oh no, I looked up the article and it says Evan Williams rye.
Oh.
So for shame.
To be fair, this Jim Beam Rye was a little bit lower in price than most of the other ones out there.
Fantastic. Looks like we're doing a little bit better then.
Okay.
As usual, I have it on ice and I have a little bit here neat for me so I can get the full understanding and appreciation of
Okay,
it.
here we go. Ooh,
That is not bad.
no.
That is a lot smoother. At a 90 proof, a lot smoother than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I saw that 90 proof and I was a little worried, but no, that's delicious.
I would drink this regularly.
Yeah. It markets itself as a pre-prohibition style rye, which I don't know if the way that rye is distilled has changed since then, but the label does say that after prohibition, a lot of the typical rye distilling fell off. So I don't know if it's just...
Yeah, I think it's delightful.
Well, thank you, Evan Williams, for not making a rye so that we could enjoy this delicious Jim Beam rye.
Like, I am pleasantly surprised. A little heat on the back end, but it's nice heat. It's not burning me. It's a good flavor. It's smooth. It even has legs on it. You can see it sticks to the glass a bit.
Yeah.
The viscosity of it. Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan.
That's good. That's good.
All right.
Cool.
So, you've been gone for a little bit.
I was gone for a little bit.
Do you have some TV to catch up on?
I did. So, one more reason I need a new tablet.
Let's talk about this.
Apparently now it takes 5 minutes for my tablet to recognize that there's an SD card in there.
Yikes. And now you're
So-
still using the same tablet I used to use,
Yeah,
correct? Okay.
And I've been looking for. I'm this close to pulling the trigger on the Pixel C,
Oh,
but
But-
it's a year old now.
not only is it a year old now, Google's releasing their new Pixel phones here shortly.
Right.
And the rumor is once the Pixel phones are released, a new Pixel tablet is on its way.
Right. Which, that's why I'm not doing it. But I apologize in advance for my coughing during this. Like you had mentioned, I'm getting over being a little sick. But so on my flight there, I was able to download the entire second season of Under the Dome
Okay.
and watch that on my flight there. It's really not as good as the first season was.
There it is.
There's only one season left that I have to watch, though, so done with that. While I was there, I had Kodi installed on my laptop, so I got through a bunch of stuff there. Which, by the way, we had a brief discussion about VPNs while I was there.
Yes.
Hulu does amazing at blocking VPNs.
Do they
To
really?
a frustrating point.
Wow.
I tried like half a dozen VPNs, and each one was like, no, you can't access this content.
Because Netflix, man, they are like loose about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But so I launched Cody. I watched season 2 of Huff, which was a show I watched season 1 of like 6 years ago.
Okay.
Season 2 never came out on DVD.
Huff.
So it was a Showtime show, starring Hank Azaria.
Okay.
He plays a psychologist who is having all kinds of crazy problems in his personal life too. And then a bunch of stuff gets triggered by him having a patient committing suicide in his office one day.
Okay.
So a lot of really interesting character development in the second season. It talks about his brother who has schizophrenia. And there's a lot of stuff that's just left at the end of season 2 because they got canceled like 2 days before the season finale aired.
That's always the worst.
So I watched season 2 of that. I watched seasons 3 through 5 of Girls, so I'm all caught up on that.
Okay. Lena Dunham's
I am
Girls.
so tired of Lena Dunham. She's
She-
the worst part of that show.
She is the worst female comedian with Amy Schumer a close second. Close second.
I have a couple more that I would put in between them, maybe, but yes, sure.
Even Jareen Garofalo's better.
All right, so I watched that. I watched season 2 of Nashville.
Okay.
And then I started Manhattan. You know this one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like 6 episodes into season 1 of Manhattan.
Good. I haven't watched it.
It's really good.
Okay.
And season 2 of it is on Hulu now also. For the longest time, it was only season 1. Season 2's up there now. It only went 2 seasons. 23 episodes total. But I'm really digging it so far.
Yeah, it comes up all the time on my Hulu, recommended for you, and I'm
Yeah.
always like, I need to watch that, and then I end up watching something else.
For those of you that aren't familiar, it is a story of the scientists that were working on the development of the atom bomb, the Manhattan Projects. Fictionalized, but there is names of real people, and there's somebody who plays Oppenheimer.
Right.
So, very good. And then I've gotten through season premieres of Gotham, Flash, and Arrow.
Okay.
And only the season premieres. I haven't gotten anything further
That's
than
okay.
those.
I figured we're going to have a lot of discussion about, and I'm going to warn all you now listening, this is just as much for Jay and I to catch up since he's been back, for you guys to catch up with us. So the three of us, me, him, and all of you, but just you in particular, who I'm talking to. You. We're going to have I feel like we're going to have a long chat today about some TV.
Okay,
There's going to
sounds
be a
good.
lot of TV talk.
Cool.
Let's start with the season premieres.
Okay.
I ignored Arrow because I've been ignoring Arrow for the past, I've only watched season 1, so.
Sure.
Ignored Arrow. How was it?
So you're going to love this. Okay.
All right.
So at the end of last season, Team Arrow disbanded.
Of course.
They all decided they needed to go their own separate ways.
Why wouldn't they?
Diggle went back into the military. Thea just went and did, I don't even know what everybody's doing. So guess what the premise of the beginning of this season is now?
How'd we get everyone back together?
How do we get a new Team Arrow?
Oh, it's a new Team
They're
Arrow.
going to recruit new people now.
Because they've released the images of Diggle's new costume.
Sure, he'll end up coming back.
Uh-huh.
But the status quo right now is we're going to find more new young people to become part of our vigilante team.
So who's left? Arrow and Felicity?
Yep.
Even though they didn't get married.
Right.
Okay.
And Holt. Michael Holt. No, what do they call him in the show? The guy that everyone knows is Mr. Terrific.
Oh, okay.
He has a different first name on the show. But
Whatever.
he's there still too. And that's about it.
And how you feeling about it?
Not so good so far.
Fair.
But this is season 5 now. And as we've learned over the last 2 years of the show, I don't give up on things no matter how bad they are.
And that's why Jay and I will always be friends, and I can
Right.
abuse him.
Yeah.
Um,
So that was that.
But you watched the Flash premiere.
I did watch the Flash premiere.
And what were your thoughts on it? Let's talk about that one, because I watched that one also.
So I was actually coming to this with a lot of high hopes because I love the Flashpoint Paradox
Absolutely.
storyline.
It relaunched DC Comics into the DC New 52 era.
Which
Love it or hate it, was a pivotal
It was,
moment
yeah.
in the DC history.
so I really liked this episode. Towards the end of it, I'm like, really, are they can't wrap the entire thing up in one episode, and at the very end you find out that no, there's more things that are still being changed or have been changed that they're working through.
So here's the question. Is that going to be used as a method to retcon the first 2 seasons to make season 3 more what they want it to be? Are they going to go back to the original timeline or stay in this slightly altered one?
I think by the end of this season, we'll be back in the original timeline.
Okay. Because we learn in this altered altered timeline, Harrison Wells is back.
Right.
And we know that his daughter is now Jessie Quick. She is going to be a super speeder,
Okay,
like
but
she
we
was
haven't
in the
seen that
comic.
yet.
No, but we
Okay,
know it because
yeah.
they've been talking about it all over the internet.
Right. We also see. Now I'm mixing up what was before and what was after. So Wally West, Flash,
Kid Flash.
Kid Flash, yeah, which we hadn't seen before.
We had not seen him in the costume,
Right.
nor did he have speed.
Right. So
we saw that in the alternative timeline, not the real
okay.
timeline.
Yeah. Sorry, I read a bunch
Nope.
of Flash comics yesterday
get-
too. So now I'm like, what's
What's-
comic? What's TV?
Yeah.
None
So
of it's real.
in the new timeline, so Barry has the original timeline, then there's the in-between timeline, and now the new timeline.
Right.
In the new timeline, we learned that Jessie Quick will have her speed.
Okay.
We don't know what Wally has. We know that Iris is not part of the group whatsoever,
Right.
in that Wally's actually the one close to Detective Joe West.
Okay.
That's all we know so far. I'm assuming Cisco's going to be Vibe.
Okay. I would believe that.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we don't know what else is happening. The season premiere for me fell kind of flat.
Okay.
I didn't love the rival character.
Oh no, that was terrible.
And you see him at the end, and did it say alchemy on the mirror?
Yes.
Is that something I'm supposed to remember and I don't?
I think maybe that was laying groundwork for something coming along later. What I was confused about was that supposed to be that timeline's version of the weather wizard? Because they made a reference when he made the tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, he's like a weather wizard.
No,
Okay.
because he had the speed. I think he was. Bear with me on this one. I'm diving deep on this one.
Okay.
Now, in the comic book, Zoom and Reverse Flash used to be the same person.
Right.
Come New 52, Zoom and Reverse Flash were 2 different people.
Right.
In this version, in the middle timeline of the Flash TV show, he looked a lot like the DC 52 Reverse Flash, with that black and the red
Right.
and the weird
Yeah, yeah,
mask.
yeah.
That's what he looked like a lot to me.
And that's what I thought when I first saw him.
Sure.
Too.
Now, is he going to be somebody else later on? Yes. That big reveal at the end of the episode is that he is somebody in the current timeline.
Okay.
Who it is, I don't know.
Okay.
And did you get a chance to watch Supergirl?
I have not.
Okay.
I told my wife earlier today, I'm like, I think I'm going to have to start watching these shows without you.
Ooh, how did she take that?
I
I mean, you're still wearing your wedding band.
well, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think she took too kindly to it. But here's the thing. She's in grad school right now.
Yes.
So she's doing like 5 to 6 hours of homework a day.
Yeah.
On top of working full time. So I'm like, if I wait, I'm going to be able to start catching up on shows in January. That's not going to work for me.
That's
So I think we're going to have to figure out something where I watch shows when I have time off and she'll watch shows on her days off. I don't know. Because, yeah, right now I want to watch Supergirl, but I'm waiting for her. I want to watch. I'm still 3 episodes behind on Gotham.
okay.
So,
Maybe Jess and I, we watch a lot of the same shows together. Some of them I watched before, and then it'll be the second viewing, so I'll be doing other stuff.
right.
And there's only like 2 where I'll wait 100% for her.
Okay.
But it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta make.
Well, because Jess and I are up to 7 or 8 shows that
Yeah.
we watch together now. And if it's 4-hour window of watching time in a week, that doesn't work.
There are a couple other of your shows I want to ask you about before we get into my shows.
Okay.
Have you watched The New Voice? Alicia Keys and Miley Cyrus.
The only one I watched was the they did something for a football special. It was like a special half-hour episode, the very first episode.
Okay.
That's all I've watched because again, that's something that
You watched together.
which she's now saying she's tired of watching those contest shows. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just watch them. And she's like, well, don't watch it without me.
Oh, well, then, yeah, sure. You can't do that.
So no. I
Okay.
mean, I watched half hour of it. I'm not excited about Miley Cyrus, but
Not excited about Miley Cyrus. I don't know what happened to Alicia Keys. I feel like she looks completely different than she used to.
oh, really?
Yeah. Like, just stylistically.
Okay.
Like, I'm sure her singing is just as amazing as ever. I've always thought her to be exceptionally talented and a great ass. What? I can say that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? Okay. And then, as you know, I'm not watching Gotham either. How was the first episode of the new season? I hear there's a Bruce Wayne clone running around.
Yeah. And I really wish I'd seen more episodes since then, but I haven't yet. But yeah, there was some weird flashbacks happening, so it was really hard to tell
Okay.
if the Bruce Wayne that we're seeing was a clone or if it was during this flashback time or what. And nothing really got too revealed in the first episode, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a shit show right now.
Is it possible that the Bruce Wayne clone can be Tommy Elliott?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
I'm kind of hoping it turns into that. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, he becomes Tommy Elliott. That's actually Hush, who,
Right.
I mean, granted, the events of Hush took place 20 years after where Bruce is now, but
Well, sure, but
I'll take it. I'll take it.
the timeline doesn't really matter.
No.
No. Oh, and Gordon isn't even a cop right now. He's a bounty hunter, which is driving me crazy.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'm going to go on a tangent here real fast. Speaking
Okay.
of Batman, Bruce Wayne's timeline, did you read the new All-Star Batman that came out today?
I did.
Okay. I hear that there's now some sort of childhood relationship between Bruce and Harvey Dent because of that issue.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm taking All-Star Batman to not be canon, so I don't give a fuck what they do with him.
Because as I recall, Harvey had like 20 years on Bruce. Like in the comic, originally Harvey was this old grizzled.
Right. Yeah, and obviously that story's changed a lot over the
Sure.
years, but I think the Christopher Nolan movies were the first ones to kind of really show them as contemporaries. But yeah, why not? I mean,
So what was what? Tell me the link and we'll get back to some TV.
so the link was that both of them ended up in the same reform school one summer, or camp or whatever they call it. And
Okay.
they became friends there, and then they didn't see each other for 15 years after that.
Why is that necessary at all right now? Like obviously it's going to be necessary at some point in his story.
It's trying to show why Bruce is so concerned with saving Harvey Dent from Two-Face. Because they have this long-standing friendship as opposed to just, oh, we met at a cocktail party for a fundraiser one night. That's it. They're trying to show some significance.
I am now okay with this. I'm gonna tell you something that's been bothering me, and you totally cleared it up.
Okay.
The article I read just said Bruce and Harvey. They alluded that it was Harvey Bullock, not Harvey Dent.
Oh,
Harvey
no.
Dent makes complete sense to me.
Sorry. Yes, Harvey Dent.
No, that's good.
Okay.
I'm glad you
I
said
thought you
that.
were aware of that. Okay.
No, they were alluding that it was Harvey Bullock.
Fuck, no.
And I'm all like, that's why I'm like, no, he's grizzled, he's older. How do you even get that together?
No,
Harvey
no.
Dent makes complete sense to me as
Harvey Dent.
contemporaries.
Harvey
Absolutely.
Dent, yes.
Okay. I'm now less angry about this.
Okay, fair enough.
That was horribly written article. They even showed a picture of Harley Bullock.
Now, was this in that same magazine that talked about the Evan Williams
No,
ride?
this
Okay.
was one of the websites I am now weaning myself off of.
I mean, Newsrealm is not that good.
I'm weaning myself off of that and CBR. Like,
Yeah.
I used to check it multiple times a day. Now I begrudgingly look once.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other TV? Before I move on to my fall TV marathon.
Hot Ones. Hot Ones, hilarious. They just did an episode with Kevin Hart.
No, shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta
'Cause
watch that.
He's promoting his new movie that's coming out.
Okay.
A comedy special.
Yeah, that's been everywhere.
He goes crazy. He can't take the heat.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm like 2 behind on my Hot Ones.
Okay.
Oh man, I can't wait to see that.
Again, sorry for the coughing,
Do we need
guys.
to take a moment?
No, I'm good.
We got a pause button.
No, I'm good.
Cool.
Okay.
Look, I'm sympathetic. I was sick all last week.
Yeah. All right. So, what did you watch on TV?
All right, so I'm going to start with all the season premieres that I watched. Some I got all the way through and continue watching. Some I got all the way through, didn't watch again. Some I didn't even make it past the first 2 minutes.
Sorry, I just remembered 2 more shows. That
Go
I
for it.
watched.
Let me hear it.
So, this goes back into my tablet not working story. So, when I got back on the plane to come home, I had loaded a bunch of stuff on my tablet. I turned it on and it didn't show up because I didn't know it was taking so long for the SD card. So, I watched the IFE on the plane.
Okay.
I watched the first 3 episodes of Animal Kingdom.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fucking delightful.
Is it good?
I totally want to watch more of it.
Okay. Good.
And then the first 4 or 5 episodes of Billions.
Billions.
It's the HBO or Showtime show with Paul Giamatti. You don't know this one?
No.
Oh,
I know
this is-
Ballers
No,
on
no.
HBO,
So
but
this-
not Billions.
This one got promoted a little bit. So Paul Giamatti plays a U.S. U.S. attorney in New York. And then, I can't think of his name. The guy that played the terrorist in Homeland for the first couple seasons.
Didn't watch it.
He is head of like this hedge fund company.
Okay.
So the whole show is about Paul Giamatti trying to bring down the guy that's in charge of the hedge fund.
Okay.
So it's all this like kind of legal stuff, but all the behind the scenes, how everything's being done in the stock trading and stuff like that too. Super interesting. Like I said, I watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes of that, so I'm gonna keep watching that too. So those are the other 2 shows I watched,
you go.
and I'm done. Okay.
Okay. As everyone knows, it's October, and October means 2 things. 1, new TV shows. 2, October is for baseball, kids. We are.
I was expecting you to say 3 pumpkin beer, but
That's more than just October. That goes September, October, November, and still in December now. Like, don't. You should do October and the leftovers in November. That is it.
I think you should do like September and end it at Halloween.
That's fine too.
Anyways,
No.
not that I drink pumpkin beer. Anyways,
I
So,
do. Some.
baseball.
I do some. Baseball.
I hear your Cubs had a fantastic game.
Oh my God, my Cubs had a great day. So, I've been watching baseball.
Uh-huh.
As Jay knows, and as some of you may know, this season's over. We're now in the postseason.
I know this because there's no more Brewers alerts popping up.
There's
on
no
my
more
phone.
Brewers lots popping up. However, your catcher is doing phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
He's going to the next round.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won. So I've been doing that. Major League Baseball, the MLB package ends when the season ends. There is a postseason package you then have to buy if you want to do postseason. It's $9.99.
That's not too bad.
It's not bad at all. You get to watch all the games. I buy the annual radio pass, so for me, my radio never expires, so I
Right.
get to listen to everything. But watching, I'm in it to watch it,
Okay.
with the exception of the World Series, which will be televised on Fox.
Yeah.
So I'm in. Loving baseball, getting every minute of it with my Cubs, killing it. With TV shows,
Do you think they're going to go to this series this year? Like, in all reality, like, not as a fan who wants it to see, but do you think it's actually going to happen?
yes,
Okay.
I think it's actually going to happen. They're going to more likely than not go up against the Dodgers.
Sure.
They're tied with the Nationals 2-2. Nationals, they're all pretty much injured. The fact that they made it go 2-2 is super surprising. The Dodgers are good, right? You got Corey Seager and you got the best pitcher with Clayton Kershaw. However, that's all they got.
Okay.
Puig's hitting is down. Like, as far as the rest goes, the Dodgers are a great Cinderella story, but I think the Cubs can make it to the series.
Okay.
Do I think they'll win? I'm 50-50.
Sure.
Because at this point, it's their series to lose, but they have a grand history of losing.
Yes. Yes, they do.
So, we'll see.
Okay.
But being on my baseball high, I decided to watch the first
No.
episode of Fever.
No. Oh.
Oh, Pitch. I'm sorry, Pitch.
Okay.
Now, I texted you about this.
Oh.
I made it very proudly a minute into that show.
That's right. I remember this message
1
now.
minute until I turned it off. And I watched that minute several times.
Oh, you tried it more than once.
I tried it more than once because every now and then I'm like, maybe I was just in a bad mood. Sometimes you watch movies when you're in different moods.
Yeah,
and they're
absolutely.
totally different. So I watched it the first time and I'm like, that minute was horrible. I don't even want to keep going. And then I watched it after a game because I'm on that baseball
Right,
high
yeah.
and it shot me down real fast.
Uh-huh.
I watched it before a game I was anticipating. I'm trying to
get in the right mindset.
behind
Yeah.
this show. I can't. It's horrible. Horrible. It is getting rocked in the reviews.
Oh, I'm sure.
Rocked. It was everywhere. Everywhere. Fox was pushing that thing like it was the next coming of Empire before it aired. After the season premiere, died. Nothing.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are not familiar, it is starring Mark Paul Gosselaar. Yeah, Zaxxon.
No, I know. That's the most disappointing part
He's
for
the
me.
catcher.
Yeah.
And then a female pitcher. It is the first female pitcher in the major leagues. Not only is she just a female pitcher, she's a black female
Right.
pitcher.
Because we have to get every minority possible crammed in this thing.
I'm pretty sure she's 25% Hispanic just to be safe.
The hair's curly enough.
Hair's curly enough. Does that bother me? No. Am I fine with that? Yeah. At one point, I do fully believe there will be a woman in all avenues of the major league sports
Yeah.
teams.
No, absolutely.
In baseball, I actually think soccer is the first one where it makes the most sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then I think baseball would be next. I think football and basketball will be your hardest ones. Because
I think football more so than basketball.
I disagree.
Really?
The size difference in basketball is astounding. If you are not over 6'4", you have a very, very hard time. Now I understand the WNBA.
So I want to address one of our listeners named Spud Webb.
What's up, Spud? Don't forget Muggsy Bugs.
And Muggsy Bugs.
Don't forget Muggs.
Feel free to write in and disagree with Adrian.
By all means, we do have the email.
That's true. What the fuck is that? Poppingculturepodcast@gmail.com?
It is.
All right.
But here's why I think that's a little different. I agree. We will see a woman in basketball before we see a woman linebacker.
Okay.
But the special teams kicker,
No, yeah. You're going for the less contact position.
the less contact positions.
Yeah.
There is no less contact position in basketball. Everyone gets bows thrown at them.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you look at already the rules for the quarterback, they're so protected, and the kickers are so protected that I think that could be an easier transition for a woman, given the size difference, than basketball.
Sure.
That's the only reason why.
Okay.
But soccer, I think, would be first, and baseball is very clearly an obvious spot for a woman to come into the sports.
Yeah.
No problem with that. My issue with it is that not only is it a black woman pitcher,
She's also left-handed. Son of a bitch.
Southpaws. She debuts, according to the commercials, at the All-Star game.
But see, okay. You watched the first minute, so you would know better than me. Is it really at the All-Star game?
I didn't get that far.
Okay.
And here's why I didn't get that far. It starts off with her in her hotel room. And as soon as she walks out of her penthouse suite in the hotel to go to the training or the game, all the security walks up and surrounds her. She's walking down the hotel room floor. She goes into the main lobby where she gets crowded by people, so they take her out the back door.
Okay.
Every time, that's as far as I get, and I turn it off then.
Okay.
Because while this is happening, they're playing different ESPN clips and different Fox Sports News clips,
Sure.
FS1 clips in the background. Those clips are so fucking annoying and insulting that I just can't.
Okay.
The one that gets me every single goddamn time is the ESPN clip of a woman saying, I can't remember the exact words anymore. It's something along the lines of, all you fat, ugly, lazy loser men, take off your ball caps and come to terms that you're balding and now there's a woman. Like, she's being this fucking horrible cunt. Not even a bitch. She's being
so
a...
Kelly Sue DeConnick makes an appearance in this show, is what
I
you're
feel
saying?
like she's writing it, or at least help her and Rucka had a love child who's on ESPN. But it's just this vile anger, in all the clips towards men who have a problem with this girl being in baseball. And I'm sure that in actuality, in real life, if a woman was in baseball, that may happen.
Oh, absolutely.
But you're being such a bitch about everything that I'm like, I don't even want to watch this show because I now know if this is the way the first minute's going to be, what's the rest of this shit going to
Right.
be like? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
out. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
No pitch for me.
All right. What else did you watch?
Goldberg's is back.
Okay.
I love it as much as ever. I'll just try to hit the bullet points of all
Yeah.
the things I've been loving. Goldberg's is back. Love it more than ever. South Park is back.
'Kay.
Super strong. Season 20 years in.
Jeez.
Yeah, right? I was showing Jess just before you got here the Halloween episode from season 1. Just to see what happened in those 20 years.
Yeah.
Cartman dressed like Hitler, KKK, and like all this stuff. It's a fantastic. They followed the premise that they did in season 19, where they started. It's going to be one continual story arc as
Okay.
opposed to each story having its own thing with a couple references.
Okay.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is back.
All right.
Not as strong as the other seasons, but Brooklyn Nine-Nine never starts off strong.
Okay.
The first couple are always these really kind of building episodes,
Sure.
and then the rest of the season's always great off
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
As far as the new things that have come out, those are the ones I'm most enjoying. I'm most up about. Last Man Standing's back, but it's just I feel like I'm watching
Yeah. How's that still on?
every episode the exact same episode.
Yeah.
Nothing ever changes in that show. Supergirl. Now, that's the one I want to talk to you about. You haven't
Okay.
watched
I
yet.
have not.
I watched the first couple episodes of season 1. I did not enjoy it.
Sure.
I watched this episode. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed season 1. But I know I'm going to have the same problem I have with all the CW shows. It can't just be Supergirl.
No.
We have Supergirl is the heroine for the
Right.
first 5 minutes, and then Superman shows up.
Okay.
For the rest of the episode, you don't see them apart from each other. They're always together. And now you have her best friend, Wyatt
Win.
Wynn, who's also now working with the Alien Task Force. He's
Right.
now hired on full time as
Okay.
a new employee.
Okay.
You now have Jimmy Olsen, who's going to become the Guardian.
Sure.
You now have I'm like,
Well, and going back to Win, do you know what his familial tie is? Win Shot, the Toy Master.
are you kidding me?
It's his son.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's Win Shot Jr.
Okay,
That was touched on in an episode last season.
cute.
Yep.
But it's my whole thing. The show is called Supergirl. You know what? How about you don't call it Supergirl then? Call it, what city is she in? National
City.
Call it National City Heroes. 'Cause
Yeah.
This is not Supergirl.
Right.
If it was Supergirl, Superman would have showed up for the episode, maybe the episode, and then went back to Smallville
Right.
or went back to Metropolis, wherever he decided to go that night. The end of the episode, he decides to stay in National City for a little while.
Of course.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Like, why? Why can't Flash be Flash? Not Flash and the friends.
So my theory behind the Superman being on Supergirl thing is Supergirl didn't get great ratings last year on CBS, and especially now that it's making a jump to CW, I think it's a ratings push.
Oh, I absolutely believe it's a
So-
ratings push.
It's unfortunate because fuck Superman.
Hey.
But
But here's why it's a ratings push that worked. A ratings push that worked. It worked on me.
yeah,
I love Superman. I like Tyler Hoechlin well enough, and he made me nostalgic for the Superman I love, the golly gee whiz Christopher Reeves Superman.
Yeah.
So that hook, line, and sinker got me.
yep.
So
In 3 episodes, once he disappears, you're gonna keep watching.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, even if he's still there, and when Jimmy becomes the Guardian, like, even then I might have to tap out, man.
Yeah, you told me that, and I got a little scared.
Like,
I'm sorry, I'm messing this whole thing up.
No, we have this new Halloween tablecloth.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
'Kay.
Like, whatever. But it's getting to the point where all these shows, even Flash, Arrow, I've already dropped. I'm no longer getting enjoyment from these shows.
Right.
They're now just causing me more irritation than I am getting fun. And at what point do you keep going? Because you're an addict? Because you can't have an incomplete collection? Yeah, exactly. I'm right there with you. But luckily,
I'm glad I was able to bail out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when I did.
Whew. You don't want to watch Ghost Rider? All right. Did you get a chance to do any movies?
I watched one movie on the plane.
Okay,
I I can't remember now if it's called The Good Guys or The Nice Guys. The Russell Crowe.
The Nice
and-
Guys.
Nice Guys. Fucking hate it.
Or is it Good Guys?
I see. That's what I don't remember.
Shit. Yeah, Russell Crowe and
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling.
Fucking terrible movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they really couldn't decide if they wanted to be like an action movie or a comedy. And there's movies that can border both of those things
Sure.
and do it well. This was not one of them. The comedic moments were way too much dependent on like awkward pauses and things like that, where it'd be like they'd get into a situation where Ryan Gosling, as the younger PI, wasn't used to it, so he just stopped because he was uncomfortable and kind of looked around. I'm like, that's not funny.
The one I remember them showing constantly on the trailer was Russell Crowe comes in, breaks open the bathroom door. Ryan Gosling's sitting there taking his shit, trying to fumble with his gun.
Yeah.
The door keeps closing. He keeps trying to open
Yeah.
it, and he's dropping things like. And even in the trailer, I was like, "This is just running on too long."
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, if it had been, like, the door opening 2, maybe 3 times, sure. But the gag went on for, like, 45
Yeah.
seconds. I'm like, that's too much.
Yep.
So, that's all I watched, and it was super disappointing.
Okay. I'm gonna start off with, like, how can you not talk about this one first? My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
I didn't even know that existed.
Oh, my wife did.
Oh,
My wife
I
did.
to be fair, I never saw the first one.
I'll tell you right now, the popcorn I made for that movie was fucking delicious. Delicious. And it's not that the movie was bad. It's not that the movie was good. She loved the shit out of it, and I love listening to her laugh at those kinds of things.
Okay.
It just was for me. You saw all the jokes coming. You saw the story coming from a mile away. Nothing about it resonated with me. Nothing about it was I find amazing. Nothing,
Okay. Yeah.
But nothing about it was also at the point where I was like, I need to turn this off.
Sure.
Like, I can't watch. So in that aspect, I feel like they made a very successful movie because my wife loved it and I didn't have the urge to go shoot myself.
Right. She loved it. You tolerated it.
Yeah. Yeah. To the point where there's some movies where I know she likes and I'm just like, oh God, this was horrible. And if this was over, I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Like, fine.
Okay.
Hands washed. I watched the new Blair Witch movie.
Oh, why?
Watched it in the theaters.
Oh, you paid money?
Yeah, because I don't have a movie pass anymore.
Oh.
Money paid. Money paid.
I'm sorry.
I love horror movies. Love horror movies. So we watched the new Blair Witch, which essentially was the original Blair Witch.
Right.
With different camera
Yeah,
technology.
it's now shot on red.
Yeah, like they had a couple interesting things. Like on the one hand, before it was just that shaky camera. Well, now they had new technology, so there were flying drones, and everyone had the earpiece cameras, so they could switch different camera views and everything else. At the end of the day, though, just the Blair Witch movie.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this last time. I don't remember if I did or not. I watched Hotel Transylvania 2.
I don't think you did.
Yeah,
I watched the second half of that movie.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Good review.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like that was it for
Okay.
my movie watching. I
Alright.
have this backlog that is just killing me.
You know what movie you still have not watched?
Oh my God, I totally forgot about Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I realized that last night. I'm like, I wonder if he ever
Oh
watched
my God,
that.
I'm so sorry. I totally forgot
No,
about
I
it.
don't care.
Because I actually have the disc. I burnt it to my hard
Yeah,
drive.
yeah.
I got to watch that.
Okay.
One last thing about watching before we move on. I've watched the first season of Penny Dreadful.
Oh, okay.
Have you watched this?
I have not. It's one
Okay.
of those things that I keep meaning to watch, but
It's now all on Netflix.
Yeah.
Even though it's a Showtime. It's
Right.
all on Netflix. Like it.
okay.
Really like it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of really good things about it.
Yeah, I obviously I like vampires, mummies, all that stuff. Frankenstein, werewolves. So it's right up my alley. I never watch it because it's Showtime, and I don't pay for Showtime or HBO.
No.
It's not free on Hulu, which now we're going to get into streaming services when I'm done with this.
Okay.
So, but it's now on Netflix. So I watched the first season. I really enjoyed it. I'm super looking forward to the second season.
Okay. Do you have any plans on watching Westworld? Have you heard of Westworld yet?
I've heard of Westworld. Everyone says it's very good.
Yeah.
Only the first episode's free, though.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's only the first episode HBO's doing for free.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have to have HBO Go or an HBO subscription.
Or
or Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you watch it?
I haven't.
Okay. I hear great things about it.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'll probably start watching it. I just have to figure out when to watch it when Jessica's not home, so she doesn't also see it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
you can have your own show to watch.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so you want to talk about streaming?
Let's talk about streaming service. Then we'll talk about some comic books.
Okay.
Hulu and Netflix have gone through a lot of changes since their conception.
Yes.
When they were first conceived, there was no original programming.
Right.
Netflix bridged that market, and I would say they are doing a better job of it than Hulu is.
Yeah, I don't know if I've watched any Hulu original series.
I've tried some. I like one.
Okay.
Now, Amazon's now getting into the market.
Yes.
Amazon announced today unlimited music for $7.99.
Yes.
They're doing Spotify,
right.
$2. So it's $7.99 if you're a Prime member, $9.99
if you're not. Yeah.
But they've done a lot of really good original content.
Okay.
Not great, but good.
Sure.
The problem with their original content, Netflix's original content, and Hulu's original content, I watch enough TV already. I don't have time to add more shows to it. I just don't.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even watched Luke Cage or Jessica Jones for that matter. I just don't have the time. Now, Netflix has announced that in a couple years, they are going to be 50% original content.
Yeah.
So essentially, they've been raising their prices. They've already cut their movie and TV catalog by 50%.
Right.
They are going to continue to cut. So we are essentially now paying for them
their production.
for their production of
Yeah.
original content.
Yeah.
How much longer do you stay with Netflix?
Well, I've already dropped their DVD subscription.
Correct?
And at this point, I plan on finishing out what's left on my queue and then just dropping it.
Because you're going to do straight Cody.
Yeah. I mean, that's my thing. I have,
Yep.
I think it's like 20 shows that I'm still watching between the three services. And as I finish each one, I'm just going to cut the service.
So why can't you just move what you have on Netflix and just start watching on Cody?
I absolutely could.
But you started on one, you want to finish it on one?
No, I literally don't care about that at all. There's still this thought in the back of my head where I'm going to get caught with my Cody.
Yeah.
Because it's actually been making a lot of news the last few weeks. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes, it has.
So I'm like, as long as I can show that I'm still subscribed to these other services, maybe I can work that in my favor. I'm like, yeah, I watched this show on Cody, but I'm paying for access on it over here still, so it's a wash, right?
That's like my argument of I used to download the torrents all the time, and then I'd be like, no. See, I own the DVDs. I just got the torrents because it's more convenient. But
Right.
I own the DVDs.
Yeah.
Um.
It's just a backup. I'm having a backup.
Right. Now, did you hear about the guy who got fined by Sony?
No.
$1.1 million. He appealed it, lost.
Okay.
It stuck. 1.1 million. Because not only was he ripping DVDs before they were released,
Oh.
he was then uploading them and sending them to other. He was providing them
Sure.
to
Yeah.
Pirate Bay and all the other sources.
Right.
1.1 million. From that, though, I heard nothing about the Cedars, just the Leechers. Wait, no, other way around. Nothing about the Leechers, just the Cedars.
Just people hosting.
yes.
yeah.
So I think you're okay.
Probably.
Now, I'm considering dropping Netflix.
Okay.
I won't drop Hulu because they are still constantly adding new TV shows.
Sure.
And it's next day. If it
Yeah.
airs on a Monday, I get to watch it Hulu on a Tuesday. I'm considering dropping Netflix streaming. I would keep the discs.
I feel like that just frames our friendship so much right there. I get rid of the physical media in favor of streaming. You're getting rid of the streaming in favor of physical media.
No and yes. I'm keeping the physical media because at this point, even though I'm paying for 2 discs, they're sending me 4. None at the same time, but the way they've been sending them isn't when I get...
No, because they started trying to get discs out faster, so they predictively ship them.
Yes. So
So they're
I'm
like-
actually rotating rather quickly through discs.
Yeah. I
So-
had that happening too. So for those who don't know, what they've done is they look at your DVD history and they say on average it takes him 2 days to watch this. So if he gets it on Wednesday, he's gonna ship it back on Friday. So we're gonna throw his next disc in the mail on either Thursday or Friday, so he gets it sooner.
Yes.
So then if you actually take 4 days to watch that disc instead of 2, you technically have more discs out at once.
Now, for those of you who receive the disc, rip it to your hard drive, and just ship it right back, I'm now getting, on average, a new disc every day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means I'm building my library real quickly. Real quickly.
So how's your Plex server looking?
Amazing.
Are you doing Plex Cloud?
No.
Okay. Do you know Plex Cloud yet?
I do.
Okay.
That's just a risk I don't want to take.
Right.
So what Jay's talking about is, so when all this media comes in, I rip it, I send it back. So essentially, I'm creating my own media. I'm creating my own Netflix in-house.
And not only are you doing that, there are now articles talking about create your own Netflix using Plex.
Yes.
So you are ahead of the curve.
I'm a visionary, bitches. So what's happening is they send me a disc. I remove all the securities, rip it to my hard drive with subtitles, because I love subtitles. I send the disc back. So at any time when I want to watch it, I turn on my Xbox, I open the Plex server. It shows me all my movies. It shows me all my TV shows. So I get to choose what I want to watch.
Yeah.
Now you can activate Plex Cloud, which means from any computer you want, you log into your Plex account and you can see everything you've got.
Yep.
I feel like that's asking for trouble.
I think so too.
So right now it is housed internally.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no outside connection
Right.
to it. And I don't want to open up an outside connection.
Well, and do you even, I guess you do Wi-Fi from, right? Or are you hardwired from your...
I'm hardwired.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
there's
can
literally nothing going over.
if I wanted to, I could turn off my internet and still use my Plex server in-house.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all behind my router.
Right.
So in that aspect, I would favor getting rid of Netflix streaming,
Sure.
do the discs, not because I'm watching the discs as they come in, but because I'm building my own library. I'm just sending the disc back and watching it when I please.
Yeah. Okay.
So by that token, I'm paying less, and I'm not. And they have more discs. Their disc library is
Right.
huge.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's
compared to the streaming library.
that's part of the reason why when you throw out these numbers, like Netflix's streaming library is reduced by 50% over the last however many years. Yes. The reason for that is because now all that content has to be shared or split up between Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Vudu, and there's like 8 services now.
Of course.
But Netflix is still the only one really doing discs. So their disc library will always be far more robust than their streaming library.
Sure is. And I reap the benefits. Now, the downside of the Netflix disc library. Oh, no, Jay. We've been talking about all the illegal stuff we do on this. If one person were to report this podcast to the FCC.
Everything we're talking about is fictional and has no bearing on real life.
My real
events.
name's not Adrian.
No.
He's not. We're playing fictional characters inspired by these two douchebags we don't even really know.
Yeah. We're just reenacting shit we read on Reddit. That's all this is.
Uh-huh. But Redbox gets the discs when they release.
Yeah.
Netflix gets the disc 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
So that's my big downside. 2 weeks, I'm good, thanks.
Also, I don't really feel like going in front of a 7-Eleven to rent a DVD.
And they raised their price too.
Yeah, it's like $1.29 now, right?
$1.50 for every disc now.
Come on.
$1.99 for
Come on.
Blu-ray. All right, let's talk some comic books.
Okay. Like I said, I'm gonna let you go first because
I'm gonna go first.
I read a bunch of stuff the last 2 days and I don't actually know what came out this week.
So, starting with Glitter Bomb number 2.
Okay.
And of course, as usual, more indie stuff than Marvel. James Bond Hammerhead number 1. It's the 6-part miniseries written by Andy Diggle.
Okay.
Reborn number 1. It's the Mark Millar and Greg Capullo.
Okay.
Dead No More: The Clone Conspiracy, an Amazing Spider-Man event number 1.
It's a lot of words.
Right?
Yeah.
Moon Knight number 7. Batman Detective Comics 942. Earth 2 Society 17. The Flash number 8. Hal Jordan the Green Lantern Corps number 6. Supergirl number 2. Superman Action Comics 965. Superwoman number 3. Hardback of Superman American Alien.
Okay.
And I just love the cover of Superman Action Comics. Is how much does that look like Henry Cavill?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like that artist nailed it. And you, my friend.
So what I gleaned from your list, for this week, I bought Detective 942, Flash 8, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps 5, Supergirl 2. I also read, I think Extraordinary X-Men
Yeah.
14 came out this week.
Okay.
The Fix number 6.
6 was this week.
I feel like there's one or two other ones. I bought 15 books today.
There you go.
And that covers 6 of them. So a lot of them must have been back issues.
So, did you read Detective Comics?
I did.
Have you read all 6 parts of the Monster Men?
In the last 2 days, I've read all 6 parts.
What do you think of that?
It's hard. Overall, I think the story was pretty good.
Okay.
I definitely preferred some titles versions better than others.
Agreed.
But overall, yeah, I thought it was a good family-wide event.
So speaking of what you said, it was, for those of you who are not familiar, Night of the Monster Men took place in Batman, Nightwing, and Batman Detective Comics.
Yes.
Not written by their usual writers, however. It was all written by Steve Orlando.
I totally didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Orlando.
Yeah, I never really.
So Orlando was the architect behind it all.
Okay.
So in that aspect, it gave all the writers who've been writing these books that come out every 2 weeks this month-long break.
Okay.
Which, one, I think is really nice that they were doing that.
Sure.
They even had guest artists. Because Riley Rosmo did Batman's art. And I love Riley Rosmo.
Yes, you
so
do.
I was super happy to see that.
I remember you were very, very motivated to get his signature at Emerald City this year.
Oh, and I did. I got
Yeah.
a couple things signed.
Yeah.
There's one framed in the hallway.
Nice.
Yeah. Because he did a little doodle on it and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. As far as Night of the Monster Men goes, I agree. It was a nice family-wide event. The last issue fell really flat for me.
Absolutely.
I felt like it was a great build-up, a lot of fun, and then it just...
I think Clayface wrapping himself around a building to cut off the air supply.
That was my least favorite thing ever.
so stupid.
They have gotten to the point in this book, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, where Clayface has become so overpowered it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's creating 100 copies of himself and controlling them all.
Well, and here's what bothered me throughout this entire event. They keep having him make copies of himself. Like, hey, we need you to do more of yourself and go here. And he keeps saying, well, I don't know if I can control all myself if I split myself
Right.
that much over that far distance. And he just keeps saying that, but nothing happens.
That I'm with you on this. He keeps saying, I don't think I can do it. And then he does it, but no one's like, hey, good. Either give him an attaboy or show a reason why it's not happening.
Right.
Like, unless in like 3 issues we find out some of those clones that he made he couldn't control have a sentient brain of their own and now
Right.
wreaking some evil and shit. Fine. Give
I'm
me
sorry,
some
Jamie Madrox? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Did you read Tangent? Did you read Death of X?
No, I didn't. Is he in? Am I gonna have to read that shit?
The first issue was real bad, so if you want me to spoil it for you, I will.
No, go ahead.
Madrox is dead. He's the one who dies.
That's fine.
Yeah. Anyways.
He's not really dead because there's gonna be another dupe out there that.
Well, no, like, long story. All of his dupes and him dead.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll see. Everyone's dead. You know, whatever. But yeah, so Clayface is now being able to... he covers like 6 floors of this building to cut the airflow from it.
Which doesn't make sense in the first place.
That means that skyscraper only had one source of air intake from the very top.
Right.
So okay, I know this is going to sound fucking petty. I get it.
That's what we do here.
Graydon, shut up. You have a building, right? It's a skyscraper. He's covering the top 6 floors of it. One, if that's the way the air conditioning system works, then it's just the intakes on the top. There's none on the sides.
Right.
However, there are on the sides. That's how these things work.
Yeah.
So I know it just seemed, I don't know.
Now, how did you feel about downtown Gotham essentially being Voltron?
When I first saw what they were doing, I'm like, oh my God, it's Batman Power Rangers edition.
Yeah, right.
They're each getting their own Zord and they each lit up with their insignia. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did.
So essentially, Batman has the watchtowers, is what he called them, right?
Yeah.
And each one of these skyscrapers it looks like they're sitting inside the Zords or Voltron.
Yeah.
You know, they're sitting there and they have their seat and the console around them. and they control the skyscrapers. I'm so happy they don't move. If they actually move, I was gonna lose
That's what I was waiting for.
I was too. But they all have like weapon systems and all these crazy things built into these skyscrapers. It's how they destroy the last monster. It's all been orchestrated by Hugo Strange,
Right.
who used the
Venom from Bane.
venom from Bane, altered it to make this monster venom. They stopped Hugo Strange by Clayface covering part of the building to reduce his air intake, so Hugo Strange then passed out, and that was it.
Yeah. Very anticlimactic ending.
Super anticlimactic ending. I felt, although I enjoyed the story well enough until the end, if you're doing a month-long cross-title story, have it actually mean something.
Right.
There are no ramifications from this.
No.
It was just, at this point, you gave me an original graphic novel on OGN in single comic edition. Like, ridiculous, unnecessary.
I feel like maybe they originally thought it was going to be an 8-part story or something and had to cram an ending in 6. But, yeah, it was, that last issue was real bad.
Yep. Super disappointed with it.
But we'll move on next week, next week, I guess, with Nightwing. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he has new storyline going on, and new storylines and all of them. They're promoting the next event pretty big already.
Yes, the Justice League Suicide Squad event.
Yeah.
Batman will be in charge of the Suicide Squad. Meanwhile, the Justice League will be the Justice League. But he's on the Justice League, so we'll see what happens.
Right. I didn't think I was going to say this 2 months ago.
Oh, no.
I'm kind of actually enjoying Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps right now.
Okay.
I'm not enjoying Green Lanterns.
Oh, God. Green Lanterns is...
Fuck
Although
that.
this month's cover was amazing. Loved this month's cover. I haven't read this issue.
Okay.
However, the 5 before it, I will give you, I'm enjoying more than I thought I would.
Right.
Especially that it's written by the people who wrote the previous Green Lantern book, and that was horrible.
Yes. So in this one, it's we now have not necessarily this issue. I think it was the issue before this. The Green Lantern Corps is now back.
Yes.
But we find out their ranks have dwindled to I think it's 300 or 400.
Something very minuscule.
And Sinestro Corps has taken over. They're now the enforcing unit in the universe. But Hal Jordan doesn't want that for good reason.
Because he's ruling by fear, and Sinestro's actually kidnapping people to make planets scared of them to control them by fear.
He's now created a fear engine, which, when fear is instilled in other people, it increases the power of the Yellow Rings. Sinestro has also now consumed the Parallax entity into himself.
Again?
So now he has the full power of that. So his ring gets charged 1,000%, which sometimes that shit doesn't make any sense.
Man.
What is that? If you can charge over 100%, then you're not really at 100%. So Sinestro's ring, if he can charge to 1,000%, 100%.
He's usually
is just
operating
10%.
at just 10%. Yeah.
Fuck. Anyways, so in the end of this book, it comes face to face confrontation with Hal and Sinestro. Nothing happens because that's the last panel, but you're now going to have in the next issue, probably not, but what's being hyped is a battle between Sinestro and Hal Jordan. Sinestro at 1,000%, and Hal Jordan with now this weird translucent power of the Green Lanterns. He made his own will ring and all this shit.
So essentially what had transpired, and this is the one part of the book I actually dislike, was that Hal had enough willpower in himself that he was able to create his own Green Lantern ring with his own will.
Yeah, that
So
I
now
don't like.
he's essentially becoming the new entity of will, whereas before it was Ion.
Yes.
I feel like Hal is almost becoming the new entity of will.
Yeah.
And it not down.
No.
Not down.
No.
He was great as a ring wielder.
Yeah.
Just give him a ring. Just make him a normal person again.
Right. But this issue especially touches a lot on how Sinestro feels about Hal. How he makes reference to the one thing that Hal could always do is exactly the opposite of what I told him to do. So it shows that there's that long-standing rivalry between them. And I say that there's supposedly going to be a confrontation in the next issue because if there's anything I've learned from reading comics is every time they build up to a big confrontation, it never actually really
Something
happens.
always happens in between.
They're going to team up to take on some other.
Oh, don't team up.
Yeah. So.
All right. I feel like that's it for me. I feel like we did a good chunk in there.
Yeah, that's it for me. We'll be back
Next week. Yeah, no reason not to. We'll be back to our regular scheduled programming.
Probably a little shorter episode next week because there won't be as much as the recapping and the.
That's true.
So.
That's
Okay.
it for me.
That's all I got.
Bye.